My wife was laughing in my house with another man. That's how I found out my marriage was over. No argument, no warning, just a video file called Exhibit C. The court called it evidence. I called it the night my world stopped breathing. It happened at 9:37 p.m. My Ring camera caught the glow of the porch light, the same light I installed myself. She walked in, hand on his chest, smiling like nothing was wrong, and behind her was a face I knew too well. My friend, the man who toasted our wedding. Then came that tiny sound. Beep. The door unlocked and something inside me exploded. 7 seconds of video burned 20 years of my life. It was like watching your own house catch fire while you can't move. If you've ever felt trust die right in front of you, stay here. Subscribe, follow, because what comes next hurts even deeper. 2 plates, then 1 back in the cabinet. The table looks too wide with only 2 chairs. Our wedding photo hangs over it, her smile resting on my shoulder like a promise past its warranty. Outside, the suburb hums like nothing's wrong. A mower, a barking dog, a kid riding circles. Inside, the clock chews the air. Tick, tick. I eat soup from a can because flavor feels like a luxury. The empty chair holds more of our life than I do. Birthdays, late homework, Thanksgiving truce after dumb fights. The quiet settles, not gentle, just heavy. I keep looking at that chair the way a man looks at a mile marker, knowing the road behind is longer than the road ahead. I think peace is rest. It isn't. It's practice. Silence wasn't peace. It was rehearsal for goodbye. My phone lights up on the table. Emily is live. 5 secrets to a happy marriage. I don't touch it. I let it ring the whole room. She's framed by a ring light, voice warm like morning TV. Honesty, trust, little rituals. Hearts float up the screen like helium balloons. I'm at the sink, sponge in one hand, phone in the other, water running for no reason. She says, "Tell the truth," and the word lands with a metal ping. She says, "Choose each other," and the comments cheer. I stare at the face I sleep beside, teaching strangers how to be married. A bubble slides down a glass and pops. It's the only honest sound in the room. I turn the screen face down. The fridge hums. The counter puddle spreads like a slow map of places we don't go anymore. I feel the old me, the loud one, reach for a fight. Then something else steps in, colder, steadier. The bottle waits on the counter, cap off, like an easy exit. I don't hit comment. I reach for the glass. But I stop halfway, fingers shaking over the rim. I pour an inch and watch it catch the light, amber, warm, lying. I lift it, feel the burn before it happens, then set it down and count my breath like bolts on a wheel. 4 in, 7 hold, 8 out. Again. The room loosens 1 click. I open a clean notebook and write 2 words that don't blink. Hold steady. Underneath, I list rules I can live by. Don't post the video. Don't trash the house you built. Don't make your son pick a parent. Gather proof. Speak plain. I slide the glass away. I won't be the man who collapses loud. I'll be the man who stands quiet. The phone buzzes, begging for a reaction. I let it starve. Breath in, breath out. Then a ding I haven't heard in months. The old family iPad waking in the drawer, screen lighting the dark. A banner slides across. A message from D. I stare at the glow. Tomorrow can start tonight. The family iPad wakes in the drawer, the old lock screen I set up for the kids. A banner slides across. I swipe without thinking. A thread opens. D at the top. Photos load slow on our Wi-Fi. A corner table at a coffee shop, her latte with a heart in the foam, his hand in the frame. The bubbles keep stacking. Jokes. Late-night check-ins. That easy tone you only use with someone who hasn't watched you fall apart. Then the little heart emoji. Hers, not mine. A photo of her book, then a selfie I've never seen, softer than the one she posts for family. The typing dots bounce. She writes 2 words and sends, "Safe place." I stare until the room goes thin. The house I paid for, the locks I installed, the bed I still make straight, and I was not the safe place. I wasn't the place she felt safe. I close the iPad. If she needed a sanctuary, so do I, and mine starts with proof. I start small and steady. A second camera goes up in the garage. I pull the ladder myself, run the cable clean, label the files like invoices. I download the door lock logs, every beep stamped with date and time. I change the Wi-Fi password to something only I'll remember, something with the year we almost lost the house and didn't. I back everything up to the cloud, then to a drive the size of a matchbox. The work calms me. This is a job. Jobs I can do. The house hums, fridge, furnace, the old clock clicking like a metronome. I'm not hunting. I'm documenting. I'm not raging. I'm recording. If the truth is going to hurt, it's going to be clean. If truth hurts, prepare anesthesia. I shut the laptop. A notification slips under the door of my calm. New banking activity on an account I don't recognize. Numbers don't lie. Numbers tell stories. I log into the bank like it's another toolbox. There it is. A new card, opened without a word. Small charges at first. Then one with a hotel address in Dublin, Ohio, a date I know too well. The same Friday. Next, Uber pings line up like breadcrumbs. One to the bar, one to the hotel, one back to my street at 9:34 p.m. The timestamps fit the lock logs like puzzle pieces snapping home. My chest goes quiet, not loud. The story writes itself in dollars and minutes. I print the statement, circle the totals, and slide it into a folder I label in thick block letters. No screaming, no smashing. Just the math of betrayal. Infidelity comes with receipts. I flip the page and the pattern keeps going. Subscriptions, meals for two, same neighborhood. At the bottom, a merchant name I recognize from a text on Dave's phone last summer. Friendship has a paper trail too. I open the ring file and drag the slider slow. Zoom in. The pixels break apart like gravel, but the shapes hold. Porch light, shoulder, the tilt of a head. I scrub back, forward, back again, hunting for something my gut already knows. The grain fights me. Static snow, blue haze, but the angle doesn't change. She's in the doorway, hand on his chest, his body turned just enough to keep his face out of the light. I freeze it on frame 4. The blur tightens, edges sharpen a shade, and there it is. The line from ear to chin, that hard cut I've seen 1,000 times over burgers and ball games. My pulse answers like a hammer in a quiet shop. I lean closer, not breathing, waiting for the lie to blink, and it doesn't. That jawline, I knew it. I don't hit play. I don't need to. I pull a photo off the fridge. Summer BBQ, beers up, sun high. Same angle, same man. I lay the BBQ photo next to the paused frame and line them up. Dave, arm around my shoulder, glass raised, that same half smirk like he's in on a joke. I remember the sound of that day, someone's Bluetooth speaker, kids running through sprinklers, the easy thunder of men laughing too loud. I overlay the ring still with my thumb. The notch in the ear, the jaw, the slope of the neck. It clicks together like sockets in a ratchet set. My friend, my house, my wife. Everything I trusted sits side by side on my kitchen counter. A happy afternoon and a 7-second night. I hear his voice in my head. Bro, you know I got you. Yeah, I know. I slide the photo into the folder with the bank printouts. The room feels colder, cleaner. There's a bell I can't unring and a truth I won't unread. I close the folder, walk to the hallway, and call her name. I spread the papers on the counter. The hotel charge, the Uber times, the pause from frame 4. Emily looks everywhere but at me. The dishwasher hums like a steady threat in the corner. I keep my voice low. Tell me I'm wrong. She swallows, eyes wet but hard. You don't listen, Mark. You haven't for years. The words land, and I hate that some of them are true. I nod once. Maybe I stopped listening. You stopped talking to me first. The machine spits a click, a plate shifts. My hand closes into a fist, then opens again. We were lonely, she says, like it's a weather report no one controls. I point to the totals, the times, the neat trail any stranger could follow. Lonely is not a hall pass. The room tightens. We're both standing on pieces of the same broken thing. We were both right. and that made it worse. The dishwasher beeps done. So are we, for tonight. I park under a dead light at Kroger and just sit. Rain freckles the windshield like the sound of small decisions. My hands won't stop shaking, so I put the phone on the dash and stare at it until the shaking runs out of gas. Then I dial the number the men's group recommended. Therapist, please. They ask for my name, my Tuesday, my reason. I keep it simple. Trust broke. I don't want to break with it. We set an appointment, Tuesday, 3 p.m. I hang up and feel the first breath that isn't made of glass. I'm not fixed. I'm not even steady. But I'm pointed somewhere that isn't hell. I decided not to drown quietly. I wipe the fog from the glass with my sleeve and watch two teenagers jog across the lot, laughing under one hoodie. There's a life where this doesn't own me. I put the car in drive, go home, and pull out a notebook. 3 lines. That's all I ask of myself. Line 1. I am angry, but I'm not noise. Line 2. Collect facts. Leave feelings for later. Line 3. Don't make Ethan choose. I peel a yellow post-it and stick it to the page. Truth. Anger. It looks almost silly, like a rule on a fridge, but it holds me in place. I slide a photo of my son between the pages, his arm around me after a game, sweaty and proud. The pen scratches, steady as a small machine. The room is quiet enough to hear the furnace kick on and settle. I close the book and lay it flat like a tool I just sharpened. Truth needs order, not volume. I open a cabinet into the garage, pull down the old whiteboard from when the kids did science fair volcanoes. I wipe the dust with my sleeve. If a night can be told, I'm going to make it draw itself. I tape the hotel receipt to the left and run a red line from it like a fuse. Next pin, door log, 9:37 p.m., the exact moment the locks side open. Another pin, Uber 918, the ride that put him close but not home. Then the chat at 9:05, on my way. The pieces click like teeth in a gear. I don't need a story. The clock writes one for me. I print the map from his favorite bar to the hotel and note the minutes it takes if lights are green. I note they were green that night. I add the ring timestamp at the top so every string leads back to it, like a bad sun. The board starts to look like what it is, a truth that doesn't care how I feel. The night drew itself. I step back and take a picture of the board for the folder. Tomorrow, I'll let a professional try to tear it apart. The choir lifts the room like a sail, and I sit in the last pew because it's easier to leave from there. Families fill the rows, hands folded, shoulders touching. I keep mine in my pockets. The pastor says, "The truth sets you free," and the words land heavy, like a bill due. I bow my head and see the whiteboard in my garage, the red line pulling every minute into a knot. I used to sit here holding her hand, passing mints down the row, whispering about lunch. Now my palm feels like an empty pocket. A kid ahead of me leans into his dad. The man squeezes once, like a promise you can feel. I breathe and it scrapes going in. Freedom sounded expensive. After the benediction, I don't linger. I walk to the car slow and call voicemail. One new message. Ethan's campus number. I listen to his voice, young and careful. I hit call back before the engines warm. His face fills the screen. Dorm walls, a poster, a pile of laundry he swears he'll do. "Dad, you okay? Is Mom okay?" I watch my own reflection in the corner of the glass and choose my words like tools I can't drop. "We're working through some things." He nods, not buying it, not pushing. "You coming to my game Wednesday?" I say yes before he finishes the question. He smiles the way boys do when they still believe maps don't lie. We talk classes, a girl in chem, his bad ankle, nothing hard and everything important. He circles back. "So, are you guys good?" I look past the camera to the empty chair in my kitchen. How do you tell a son his map is wrong? "We're figuring it out," I say, and it's not brave, but it's clean. We hang up. I stare at the black screen until I see myself, then open my email. If I'm going to fight, it won't be messy. Subject line, consultation confirmed. Tuesday, 11 a.m. There's a checklist attached. IDs, bank statements, property records, communications, any logs or footage. I spread the papers across the table like I'm laying out lumber, then feed them into the scanner. 1, 2, 3, names, dates, numbers that don't flinch. I pull the hotel receipt, the Uber trail, the door log. I label each file plain and hard, the way truth looks when it doesn't need help. The cursor blinks at me like a metronome. I breathe, attach, send. A copy goes to the drive in my pocket, another to the cloud. The house is quiet enough to hear the envelope of my life seal shut. Fighting fair starts with filing right. I check the calendar. The boxes line up like rungs on a ladder I don't want to climb but will. A new notification slips in. Credit activity again. Same merchant that keeps repeating. I open it, and a name jumps out I've seen before. Dave. No more reacting. I write them down so they stick. Don't post the video. I won't turn pain into content. Don't smash the house. I built it. I won't be the one who ruins it. Don't lie to my son. He deserves a father who tells the truth even when it stings. Show up to therapy. Not once. Weekly. Collect everything legally. No shortcuts, no traps, no cheap wins. I read the list out loud until my pulse slows. I'm not bulletproof, but I'm not aimless either. The rules give the anger a fence and me a way out. I tape the list inside the cabinet next to the coffee filters where I'll see it every morning. Then I write one more line at the bottom in heavy ink. Boundaries are bravery with a schedule. The house is quiet. My head is not. I look at the whiteboard, at the ring file waiting on the desktop. If order is my weapon, it's time to swing. I open the ring footage and dig deeper. Metadata, timestamps, compression, bit rates. Frame by frame, the porch breathes in blue. At frame 1415, something cramps. A strange block of noise, like a thumbprint pressed into the pixels. I make notes. Time code, anomaly description, screenshots labeled clean. I'm not a tech, just a man with a reason. I package the files and send them to the forensics email the lawyer gave me, attach the question like a fuse. Could this be altered? Then the waiting starts. The worst job in the world. The room feels colder. If the video is dirty, the ground under everything shifts. If it's clean, the truth is sharper than I thought. I stare at the progress bar crawling across the screen and whisper what I'm afraid to say out loud. What if the only thing I trusted lied? The email leaves with a whoosh. I close the laptop and grab my jacket. Tech can wait. Dave can't. ESPN screams from every wall. Dave claps my shoulder like we're still boys. Beer, he says, grinning. I keep my hands in my pockets. We need to talk. He leans back, plays casual, eyes sliding anywhere but mine. I lay it out tight. The hotel charge, the Uber times, the lock at 9:37, the way frame 4 doesn't need a name tag. He snorts, a little cruel. Mark, come on. We're grown-ups. I let it hang a beat. Yeah, I say. Grown-ups don't steal vows. The grin slips. He starts looking for exits, jokes, half-truths, fog. I give him nothing to push against. If I'm wrong, say it now. He lifts his beer instead. Don't be dramatic. The word hits like spit. I slide a copy of the receipt across the table. He doesn't touch it. The TV cuts to a replay, a crowd roaring for a point already scored. I stand. Last chance. He shrugs. I nod once. See you in court. After the bar, I don't go inside. I park 2 houses down like a man visiting his own life. The living room light is on. Curtains glow. A shadow crosses the fabric. Broad shoulders, her smaller shape behind. The porch steps hold my weight like they remember me. I stop at the walkway and listen. A laugh leaks through the glass. Hers, low and careful, like a secret learning to talk. Another voice answers, softer than his usual public bark. Something inside me wants to knock, break, make noise. I don't. I stand there and let the quiet build a wall around me. The porch light hums. A car drifts by. Somewhere a dog shakes its collar. I turn away, keys tight in my fist, and walk back to the car without looking over my shoulder. Sometimes restraint is the loudest sound. I drive to a motel by the highway and book one night. In the morning, I'll make the first therapy appointment of my life. The office is plain and kind. 2 chairs, a box of tissues I pretend not to see. She asks my name, then asks the question I didn't see coming. When did you stop being seen? The room thins out. I look at the carpet, then at my hands, like they might answer for me. I don't talk about the video, not yet. I talk about late shifts, small talk, turning down the volume on myself so the house could sleep. I talk about fixing things that weren't asking to be fixed. She waits, patient, a steady porch light. "Take your time," she says. I do. And then the truth steps out of the fog. I forgot to ask to be seen. We sit with it until the sting turns into air I can breathe. She gives me homework. Sleep, water, a list of 10 things that don't hurt. I nod, surprised I can nod. On my way out, she mentions a men's group that meets tonight. 6 chairs in a circle, coffee that tastes like courage, and a guy named Mike who goes first. He talks about a Ring camera, too, about a best friend who wasn't. Heads nod. The stories overlap until it feels like one long road we've all limped down. When it's my turn, I keep it simple. She laughed in my house with another man. I'm trying not to burn what's left. No one flinches. A bearded guy taps his knee and says, "Been there. You're not crazy." The room loosens. Numbers get traded. A hike this weekend. Hoover Reservoir, early. We stand at the end and clasp hands like men do when they're not sure how to hug. The grip is brief, real. Pain has an echo and an exit. I walk to my car lighter by an ounce, which is a lot for a night. The group leader texts a therapist list and a reminder, "Call if the floor falls out." I save the numbers and let the engine idle. The garage light hums and the whiteboard throws a pale square on the floor. I add more receipts with blue tape, hotel, dinners for 2, the Uber breadcrumb trail. I hit play on Dave's old voicemail, the one where he says, "Bro, you know I got you," and let his voice sit next to the numbers that say otherwise. I line up the times, 9:05. On my way, 9:18. Uber, 9:37 lock, each minute clicking into place like teeth on a gear. I check the bar's closing tab, the distance to the hotel, the time it takes if lights are green. They were green. I print a map and measure the route with my thumb. No commentary, just facts. I feel the anger try to climb the fence and I push it back down. The story doesn't need me to narrate, it knows how to speak. The pattern did the confessing. A text buzzes from the kitchen. "Can we talk?" Emily. I pocket the phone, turn off the light, and let the board glow in the dark a second longer. We sit at opposite ends of the table like coworkers after a bad meeting. She starts with it plain. "I messed up." Then comes the soft blanket. "I was lonely." Then the shrug that tries to erase a map. "It just happened." Tears land between us, small and honest, but the road they traveled wasn't. I slide the folder over and she doesn't open it. Her hand reaches for mine. Mine pulls back like it touched a burner. I keep my voice low so I can live with it later. "We were both lonely. You weren't helpless." She bites her lip, nods, then shakes her head. Both true at once. I look at the dates, the rides, the room with our zip code on the bill. Accidents don't book hotels. The line hangs and neither of us moves. She whispers, "What do we tell Ethan?" The front steps creak. Headlights wash the wall. My son is home before we have an answer worth giving. The door opens and Ethan fills it. Taller than he was in every memory I keep replaying. He drops his bag and reads the room in a breath. No yelling, just the kind of silence that has edges. "You guys okay?" he asks, voice careful. I swallow the speech my pain wants to give and choose the one he needs. "We'll talk," I say, "not today." He nods like a man who understands more than he should. I pull him in and he holds on, the way you grab a railing on a moving stair. Emily looks at the floor. For a second I see him at 8, at 12, at 17, the years we taught him to tell the truth and keep his word. I can't make him referee our failure. Protecting him meant pausing me. We talk about Wednesday's game, his ankle, classes. He laughs once and it sounds like oxygen. When he goes to his room, the house exhales. I turn toward the calendar. Tomorrow belongs to Court. Her office is clean lines and quiet air. No diplomas screaming from the walls, just a clock that doesn't hurry. I lay out the folder. Hotel receipt, Uber trail, door logs, Frame 4. Lisa reads like a surgeon. No wasted motion. First rule, she says, eyes on the paper. No revenge posts. You torch them online, you torch your case, I nod. She sketches a plan. Focus on financial infidelity. Corroborate movement. Lean on what can't be faked. Judges trust numbers, she says. Feelings are for therapy. Facts are for court. We schedule filings, the likely dates, the discovery list, bank statements, phone records, employment history. She highlights spousal support angles and property splits, the kind of math that decides futures without raising its voice. I ask about the video. She shrugs gently. Nice to have, not necessary. We close the folder. I feel lighter and heavier at the same time. Win clean, or don't win at all. I leave with a checklist and a spine. I move to the sofa. 2 pillows, 1 blanket, a new habit I don't hate. We split chores like coworkers. I cook Tuesdays and Thursdays. She takes the weekends. Groceries get separate lists. Receipts live in separate envelopes. I open my own account, reroute the direct deposit, set up a new password manager, and write the hint only I'll get. The family calendar on the fridge becomes neutral ground. Therapy on Tuesdays, Ethan's game on Wednesday, court on Friday circled once, not twice. We agree on necessary silence. No shouting, no late-night autopsies, no replays over breakfast. The house feels like a hospital wing, bright, sterile, survivable. I miss the old noise, and I don't. I tape my rules inside the cabinet and add one more. No surprises. When I pass the empty bedroom, I look once and keep walking. Boundaries stop bleeding. At midnight, I text Lisa the updated accounts, then turn off the phone. The quiet holds. I hold with it. Language starts to shift in small, sharp ways. I catch myself saying we out of muscle memory. We'll fix the sink. We should book a trip. Then stop mid-sentence like a truck at a red light. Emily calls me Mark, more now, clean and distant, where once there was Han or nothing at all because closeness didn't need syllables. Dave texts, bro, a word that used to mean beer and help with drywall. On my screen it looks like a trespass. I type Mr. Miller, taste how formal it is, how final, then delete and leave him on read. Names are small fences, titles are locks. I start calling things what they are. The office is the office, not her store. The house is the Bennett property, not home. It sounds cold until it starts sounding honest. I open the journal and write a line I can live by. Names show who we are to each other. Then I underline it twice and turn the page. I take I-270 with the windows cracked and the radio low. Old country songs that know how to limp. The highway feels empty enough to think without breaking. I count exits like beads and replay the vows I said in a rented tux. For better, for worse, for real. I pull off at the overlook by the river, kill the lights, let the engine tick itself quiet. The wind cuts through the glass like it owns the place. I try the vows on again and hear where they don't fit anymore. Promises stretch, some snap. Vows sound different in the dark. I stand there until my fingers sting and the song ends on a chord that doesn't resolve. Back in the car, my phone lights the cabin blue. A message from Emily. You're controlling. You always have been. I look at the screen for a long minute. Then I type one word, evidence, and put the car in drive. Tomorrow, we're done pretending we don't know. We sit at the table like it's a line we can't cross. She goes first. You're controlling. I let it hang, then slide the pages forward. Hotel, Uber, door log, the neat stamps of time and money. She looks past them like they're fog. We were lonely, she says, as if loneliness were weather and not a choice. I nod once because some of that is true. Then I point at the numbers because all of this is true. You can call me a lot of things, I say, voice steady, but facts don't answer to names. Her jaw tightens, the same way it did when the kids were late. She repeats it softer. We were lonely. I breathe out through my nose the way you do when the nail finally sets. Lonely isn't a hall pass. We run out of sentences at the same time. My phone buzzes on the counter. Dr. Patel, Digital Forensics. Subject, ring footage, frame 1415. I open the email and feel the floor tilt. The email is clean and sharp. Prelim review suggests AI enhancement around frames 1415. Possible face smoothing or overlay. Need original file from device, not cloud. Can meet Tuesday to analyze. My stomach knots. I forward the original from the Ring app, attach the raw timestamps, add a note that my lawyer will attend. The cursor blinks like a metronome for dread. If the clip is tampered, everything shakes. If it's not, the truth is harder than I thought. Dr. Patel's next line is colder. Metadata inconsistency doesn't equal innocence. Seek corroboration. I already have it. The hotel, the Uber, the lock at 9:37. Still, my pulse lifts. I schedule the session, drop it on the calendar between therapy and court, a day that looks like a map of bruises. I hit send and close my eyes. Even betrayal needs verification. The laptop whooshes the file into the dark. A second later, another ping lands beside it. Lisa, do not post the video. Call me first thing. I've hovered over the upload button more times than I'll admit. One click and the internet would carry my pain for me. But I picture the blast radius, my kids reading comments from strangers who know nothing, my job turning into whispers in hallways, neighbors watching from behind blinds. I read about revenge porn laws, how exposing someone can boomerang and wreck the person who exposes. The video would get me likes, maybe sympathy, but not peace. And if the forensics show edits, I'd be the fool who lit the match in a windstorm. I keep hearing Lisa, win with what can't be faked. I keep hearing my therapist, act like the man you want your son to remember. So I drag the file into a folder named Do Not Share and shut the lid. Justice without dignity isn't justice. I'll fight in daylight with receipts and logs, not midnight posts. The phone buzzes on the counter, unknown number. I let it ring out. Then it rings again. Her mother. Nancy flashes on the screen, Florida area code. I answer and the room changes temperature. She's crying before hello, the kind of cry that belongs to someone who raised a daughter and can't square the girl she knew with the woman in the video. Please, don't ruin her, she says, voice thin. I sit on the edge of the chair and stare at the floor pattern I've never noticed. I don't defend Emily. I don't attack her either. I listen to a mother ask for something I don't quite have, mercy with a backbone. When she runs out of words, I give her the only truth I can carry. I won't post the video. I won't humiliate her. The line goes quiet, then a shaky thank you. We hang up and I feel both emptied and steadier. Mercy isn't weakness. It's choosing not to swing when the target is wide open. The phone lights again. Dave. Let's talk, man. Same bar? My thumb hovers over reply. Let's talk, man. The words sit there like bait. He adds a pin, our old bar, like muscle memory can scrub a ledger. I type, no, then delete it. I try Mr. Miller, formal as a courtroom. Delete. I leave him on read and set the phone face down. A minute later, he sends a laughing emoji. Not words, mockery. My jaw tightens, then loosens. I remind myself of the list on the cabinet. No revenge, no noise, collect legally. I silence the thread and the room gets cleaner by an inch. I don't owe him a stage. I owe myself a verdict. Silence can be a sentence. I open the folder for court instead. Printouts, maps, times that lock together whether he texts back or not. The quiet holds. Out the window, a couple walks a dog. They don't know me, and I'm grateful. The phone buzzes one more time, another emoji. I power it off, slide it in a drawer, and reach for my keys. Tomorrow belongs to the lab. I lay the night out like parts on a bench. Google Maps first. Dave's bar to the hotel to my street. Minutes that don't argue. I pull the gas station camera, still a buddy scent. His truck in frame at 8:44, taillights pointed west. The Uber check-in hits at 9:18. Drop-off near the hotel. Driver's note. Quiet ride. I line it up with the smart lock key log. 9:37 p.m. The soft sigh of the door I installed to keep my family safe. Timestamps click together like teeth on a gear. No story, no color, just a line that runs straight through every excuse. I print each piece and lay them edge to edge. The page becomes a hallway. The hallway becomes my porch. I can hear her laugh. I can hear the lock. I can hear my own breath go thin. I stack the pages, tap them square, slide them into the folder with my name on it. The night was airtight. Tomorrow, I hand it to people who measure truth for a living. This time, I talk first. I tell her my side that isn't a victory lap. When I started working late because promotion sounded like protection, when I chose quiet over hard conversations, when the mirror started looking older and I dodged touch like it owed me money. I named the places I went missing, date nights I canceled, feelings I edited out because I don't like the sound of need. She nods without flinching. Say the hard sentence, she says. I swallow, then let it out slow. Part of this is mine. The choice wasn't. The room holds both truths without picking a winner. We list what's mine to fix. Sleep, food that isn't from a drive-through, calls to my son that aren't about logistics, a walk that isn't for steps but for air. Shame tries to make a speech. I let it pass without a mic. I leave lighter, not clean, but pointed right. In the parking lot, my phone buzzes. Lisa, exhibits ready, signed today. At Lisa's, the clock moves like it has somewhere better to be. She lays out the exhibits with a calm that makes me believe in paper. Receipts, logs, routes, screenshots labeled with dates I can't forget. I sign where the stickers tell me to. The printer works like a small storm, spitting pages, stacking order, cooling ink. The file bag feels heavier than it looks, like it's holding not just paper, but the year I lived inside a second. We go over the hearing date, the judge's name, the questions I'll answer with one-syllable words. Don't perform, she says. Present. I practice saying yes and no like they're tools, not weapons. She flips to spousal support, property splits, the math that decides how a life gets divided without shouting. I initial the last tab and exhale. Paper can be heavier than stone. Back in the car, I place the bag on the passenger seat and buckle it in. Tomorrow, the lab. After that, court. The road is set. He shows up late, smelling like fryer oil and cheap cologne, grin set to, nothing's wrong. He tries small talk, half joke, half dare. I don't bite. I slide the receipt across. Hotel, date, room. He skims, throat working. I add the Uber times, the 9:37 lock. He sips beer to buy seconds. Look, man, he says, aiming for noble, landing on lazy. She needed love. I let the line hang where it can dry out. She needed honesty. He snorts, eyes on the TV like points can save him. I go Socratic. No speech, just questions. Was that your truck on Sawmill at 8:44? He shrugs. Did you end your tab at 8:51? Another shrug. Were you at the hotel at 9:18? He doesn't nod, doesn't deny. His face tries on a dozen alibis. None fit. I gather the papers back like tools I own. If I'm wrong, sue me, I say, calm as a ledger. He doesn't. I stand. Next time we talk, it'll have a microphone. Dr. Patel has the calm of a man who reads lies for a living. He pulls up samples, face swap, smoothing, small cheats that trick tired eyes. He points at frames 1415 on my file. Compression blocks, a hiccup in motion, the kind you see when software helps. My stomach drops, then stalls. Does that clear them? I ask. He shakes his head. No. It means this segment could be altered, or it could be noise. Either way, this video alone can't carry the case. He shows a side-by-side. One clip polished by AI, one raw, how cheeks blur and jawlines harden. It's a magic trick with receipts. You'll need corroboration, location data, transactions, independent timestamps. I nod. I've got them. He copies the original from device to his workstation. We'll analyze further, but don't pin your future on pixels. The room feels colder but clearer, like lights came on during a storm. Truth must be multi-sourced. I pocket my folder. Math doesn't blur, math doesn't blink. I go hunting for proof that doesn't care about lighting. Apple Watch logs, heart rate spike at 8:48, steps ticking toward the door, GPS pings pointing west. A photo pops up on his feed, bar check-in at 8:52, the kind of brag that turns into evidence. I map the distance, bar to hotel to my street, green lights make it tight but clean. The 9:37 lock lands like a nail through wood. I stitch the minutes together until they stop being numbers and start being a route. A receipt here, a ping there, footsteps turning into miles. I lay it all out on the table and tap the stack square. Suddenly, the math told a story. No speeches, no grainy faces, just time and money walking arm in arm. I scan it into the exhibits, send to Lisa, CC Dr. Patel. Phone buzzes right back. Got it. This carries weight. I close my eyes for one breath that doesn't cut, then circle tomorrow's date. Lab in the morning, court after. The front door sticks like it's arguing with me. I lean a shoulder and it gives, slow and bitter. In the hallway, paint has split along a seam I never noticed. Hairline first, now a thin river. I get the toolkit, lay it open like a lunch pail. Nails, putty, a small hammer that's fixed more Saturdays than I can count. I sand the edge, set a brad, tap tap, measured, careful. The sound echoes down rooms that used to hold laughter. Dust drifts through the beam of afternoon light like slow snow. I patch the crack, wipe the smear with an old t-shirt, run my thumb along the line as if skin could forget a scar. The house exhales, but only because I make it. I step back and see 12 other places waiting. Doors swell, hinges whine, floors complain. I can fix 1,000 little things and still miss the one big one. Some houses can't be fixed. I wash my hands at the sink and look at the suitcase in the closet. I sit in the kitchen chair that knows my weight and whisper into an ordinary afternoon. Help me stay kind. Not because they deserve it, but because I want to recognize myself when this is over. I breathe out until the hard edge in my chest drops a notch. Fingers interlace. Head bows. The refrigerator hum turns into a metronome for mercy. I picture courtrooms, hallways, signatures, the face of a man I called brother, the face of the woman I married. I let them pass like cars on a road I'm not crossing. Help me keep my word to my son. Help me fight clean. I open my eyes and the room is the same. Scuffed baseboards, old calendar, list on the cabinet, but it holds steadier. Kindness is my only armor. I stand and fold the blanket on the sofa where I've been sleeping. The suitcase doesn't look like running anymore. It looks like breathing. I pull it down, zip it open, and start choosing what comes with me. I sign the month-to-month lease near Hoover Reservoir. The kind clerk slides the key across like it's not a verdict. The suitcase wheels click behind me. 2 beats, a turn, the sound of starting over. Back at the house, I take one last slow walk. Garage, hallway, the divot in the floor where Ethan dropped his science fair volcano, the notch on the doorframe that says 12, then 16. I stand on the porch and open the Ring app. One tap, off. The feed goes black, and the porch becomes just a porch again. I lock the door, lay the spare key on the counter for the lawyer's inventory, and close what used to be home without ceremony. The air outside is sharper, more honest. Leaving is sometimes staying alive. I drive to the apartment and set the suitcase by a window that looks at water. No cameras, no relics, just room to breathe. I text Ethan the new address and Lisa a simple line. Moved. Ready for strategy review tomorrow. The night feels like a clean page. Lisa spreads the file open like a map and walks me through the cleanest road. We're dropping the ring clip, she says. Too many questions. Too much noise. I nod. She stacks what matters, money and movement. Hotel charges tied to dates. Uber drops that kiss the curb at the right minute. Door logs that don't care who laughs on the porch. We lead with what can't blink, she says. We rehearse answers. Yes, no, I don't recall. Here's the document. I practice breathing between sentences so anger doesn't borrow my voice. She role-plays their lawyer. Soft traps, moral fog, a plea for sympathy. We cut through with numbers and time. She circles 3 exhibits with a blue pen and taps the folder. This carries weight. I feel my chest loosen, just a notch. I'm not here to punish. I'm here to present. When we stand, her hand is steady. We'll win with what can't be faked. I shake once, gather the file, and tell her I'm ready for tomorrow. Back at the apartment, I read my journal like it's a promise I already kept. 3 lines per day, ink that doesn't flinch. I call Ethan. He picks up on the second ring, voice small from a big day. We talk schedules, a quiz he nailed, the game on Wednesday. I tell him I'm proud. He tells me first. Dad, I'm proud of you. The words land where nothing else has stuck. Deep, quiet, right in the ribs. My eyes heat and I let them. No speeches, no lessons. Just a kid who knows his father didn't fold. Strength sounds like a son's voice. After we hang up, I set out tomorrow's clothes, tuck the exhibits into the case, and lay the key on the counter so I don't forget it. I turn off the lights early. The room goes calm enough to sleep in, the kind of calm you earn, not borrow. I breathe slow. The dark doesn't feel like an enemy tonight. Shoes on tile, sharp, honest. Security beeps, trays slide, belts off, belts on. The hallway smells like paper and cold air. I spot Dave first, eyes down, jaw working gum that isn't there. He looks everywhere but at me. Emily stands near the wall, hands knit, a tremor running through the fingers I used to know by touch. I square my shoulders and keep moving. Lisa nods, not a smile, a signal. You're on time, you're upright, you're fine. We sit on a bench that feels like a test. Across from us, the clock does its slow push. I breathe the way I practiced. 4, 7, 8. So my voice will belong to me when the door opens. A deputy calls a name that isn't mine. The room shifts and resets. Dave finally looks up. We hold it for a second, long enough to end the old story without words. I stand when Lisa stands. Dignity walks on 2 feet. We step toward the door that decides what happens next. We take our seats. Lisa rises. No heat, no fireworks, just a spine made of facts. Your Honor, this isn't about humiliation, it's about records. She lays the path. We won't show the contested video, we don't need it. She states the goal, a fair division based on conduct that has proof. Then she works the ledger. Exhibit A, hotel charges tied to dates. Exhibit B, Uber trips synced to minutes. Exhibit C, door logs that don't know how to lie. Her voice never spikes. Mine doesn't have to. She explains financial infidelity in plain English. Secret card, hidden spend, joint assets used for a private life. The judge follows the paper trail like a road already paved and nods once, the kind of nod that moves a room. No smears, no adjectives, just timestamps and totals standing upright. When Lisa sits, my breath finally lands. Facts are kind to the patient. Across the aisle, a chair creaks. We're not done. We're only getting closer. Lisa gestures to the map. A red line tracks Dave's night, bar to hotel to my street. Now match it, she says. The Uber log blinks at 8:52 near the bar, then 9:18 at the hotel. Next, the smart lock entry at 9:37, the exact moment the door opened. She stacks receipts for the room, shows the timestamp of check-in and the card used. Each piece clicks into the next like teeth on a key. The judge leans forward. Opposing counsel stops taking notes and starts watching. Lisa says nothing extra. She lets the seconds do the talking. The air thins in a way I recognize, when the truth has enough weight to silence a room. My hands relax on my knees. I don't need to squeeze anymore. Across from me, Dave stares at the table as if there's an exit there he forgot to use. Silence is the sound of caught. We turn the page. The next witness is Emily. Lisa keeps it short. Mrs. Bennett, were you at the hotel on June 21st? A swallow. I was lonely. Lisa nods, as if loneliness were a weather report, then moves the umbrella. Who paid for the room? No answer. Let me help. She slides the statement forward. The merchant, the time, the card number ending in 1132. Was this your card? Emily's eyes shine. Her jaw sets. No. Whose card is it? Dave's. A whisper that lands like a stamp. Lisa doesn't gloat. She adds the Uber trail, the 937 lock, the consistent dates. Did you benefit from joint funds at any point? Another swallow. Yes. No raised voices, no character speeches, just a line from money to minutes to the truth. I stare at the grain of the table until it stops moving. Lisa caps it clean. Lonely has a card on file. The judge makes a note. We're not arguing anymore. We're accounting. The next exhibit is already in her hand. Opposing counsel motions to admit the ring clip. Lisa stands before the judge can nod. Objection, not necessary. The judge glances down the bench, then back up. Sustained. We have enough without it. Dr. Patel is sworn in. He explains the anomaly at frames 14-15, possible AI smoothing, possible noise. Either way, the clip is compromised for proof. He points to the exhibits that aren't: hotel charges, Uber logs, Smart Lock 937, the neat spine of the night. Patel's voice is steady as a level. Video alone is inconclusive. The corroboration is consistent. Opposing counsel starts a question, then lets it die. The courtroom feels colder, cleaner, like someone opened a window. The judge notes the record. We proceed on documents, not pixels. I feel my shoulders drop a half-inch. The thing that haunted me is now just background hum. Truth didn't need the tape. Lisa closes her binder without a flourish. No further questions. The judge turns to me. Mr. Bennett, you may speak if you wish. I rise. I stand, hand on the back of a chair that steadies better than I do. I keep it short. Your Honor, I'm not here to humiliate anyone. I'm here to finish something that broke. I don't mention the porch, or the laugh, or the word brother that now tastes like rust. I say what I can live with later. I'm asking for a fair division based on the records you've seen, and for this court to acknowledge what those records show. My voice stays level. No adjectives. No heat. I look down once at the folder that has carried more of this year than I could. I'm not here to hurt, just to end. Thank you. I sit. The room resets around the sound of paper moving. Lisa's hand finds the exhibit tab like a pianist finding middle C. The judge makes a note. Across the aisle, a pen stops clicking. The silence folds in without weight. The judge clears his throat. Temporary orders will issue now. We stand to hear the math of this moment. Temporary division of assets, listed plain, line by line. Exclusive use of the house, assigned to me until the final hearing. Utilities and upkeep spelled out. Legal fees, a contribution ordered, amounts capped, timelines strict. The final hearing date goes on the record, a day that looks like a finish line and a cliff at the same time. I nod when the court asks if I understand. I do. The gavel doesn't slam, it lands like a period. Papers shuffle, chairs scrape, people become people again. Lisa leans in. We stick to plan. No posts, no noise. I exhale through my nose and feel the first clean space inside my ribs in months. Closure now had a date. We pack the file, shake once, and step into the hallway that just yesterday felt like a mountain. Tomorrow is logistics. Tonight, I call Ethan, then sleep. The deputy opens the door to the corridor. The next phase is waiting, and I'm steady enough to meet it. Dave angles in like nothing happened. Mark. I walk past without shoulder or sound. He keeps talking to the air. Emily's leaning against the wall, eyes red, a tissue ruined in her fist. I don't look long. Looking makes it harder to walk straight. Nancy, her mom, steps from a bench, small and shaking, and, "Thank you for not posting it," she whispers, squeezing my hand with bones and hope. I nod once. No speech, no victory lap. The elevator dings and everyone rearranges themselves into strangers again. I feel the burn under my ribs, wanting a scene, wanting a headline. I let it die. The file bag tugs at my arm like a kid who needs to get home. Mercy is heavier than rage. I carry it anyway. Outside, the wind smells like paper and rain. Lisa says, "We're good." I say, "I know." My phone buzzes. Ethan, "You okay?" I text back, "Yeah? Dinner soon?" I step into the light and keep moving. Boxes line the hallway like little decisions. I wrap frames in bath towels, the wedding photo, then photos that kept going after that one stopped meaning what it used to. I leave one thing on purpose. A crayon drawing Ethan made of the three of us on a blue lawn with a square sun. I set it on the mantle like a witness that doesn't take sides. The house echoes without furniture, a big shell that remembers our noise even when we won't make it again. I lock windows, check breakers, list the meter readings for Lisa's file. The front door sticks. I shoulder it, same as always, and it gives. I set the keys on the counter and take a last lap with my eyes. The dent in the drywall from a chair, the notch on the doorframe for 12 and 16. Some goodbyes are renovations. I pull the handle behind me and the latch catches clean. Outside, the car trunk yawns for the last box. I lift, load, and don't look back. Dawn hangs over Hoover Reservoir like a quiet promise. I grind coffee by hand, slow turns that feel like breathing with a job to do. The single bed is made tight. The journal lies open on the counter. Today's 3 lines ready. The playlist is low, songs without words that leave room for mine. I stand in socks on a clean floor that has never heard a fight. I write, I'm still here. I'm choosing steady. Call Ethan. The cup warms my palms. I open the blinds and let the water do its calm work. There's a peace in small square footage, less room for ghosts to pace. Peace has a smaller rent. I text Ethan the new address and a picture of the view. He sends back a thumbs up and a breakfast burrito emoji. I laugh once, quietly, like easing a knot. The phone goes face down. The day can start from here. Simple, honest, mine. I take a sip and pick up the notebook again. I tell the story in plain lines, not for sympathy, but so it stops owning my lungs. The guys nod in the right places. Voicemails, receipts, the 937 lock that won't leave me alone. A big man with paint on his boot says, "Me too," like it's a password. Another adds a date that sounds too familiar. We pass a clipboard for numbers and set a Saturday hike at Hoover. Meet early, no excuses. Someone claps my shoulder. It lands like a brace, not a pat. We stand up at the end and hook arms the way men do when they're not sure where to put their hands. The room smells like coffee and clean sweat. Shame tries one last joke. Nobody laughs. I walk out lighter by a pound I can't see. Me too can mean keep going. In the parking lot, the water from last night's rain holds the sky in a puddle. I step around it and text Ethan. Hike this weekend? Come if you can. I keep it short, steady. We're separating. The court set dates. I'm okay. I don't trash his mother. I don't rewrite the past. I stress what's true and mine. I'm handling it clean. I'm here for him. I'm not posting anything. He doesn't answer right away. I can hear dorm noise, a microwave, a joke in the hall, the life he gets to keep. Are you mad? He asks. Yeah, I say. But I'm not letting mad drive. He exhales and the line warms up. We go back to normal on purpose. His ankle, Wednesday's game, the professor who can't work the projector. You still coming? Wouldn't miss it. Silence again. Not heavy this time, just full. Love sounded older tonight. Love you, Dad. Love you too. We hang up without a scrape. I stare at my reflection in the black screen and don't hate the man looking back. The laptop waits on the table, lid half open like a question I already answered. The cursor sits over upload like a dare. My heart kicks up, the way it does before a bad decision that feels good for 5 minutes. I hear Lisa, win with what can't be faked. I hear Nancy's cracked whisper, please don't ruin her. I picture Ethan scrolling, friends texting him screenshots, my name pinned to a thread I don't control. I hover, breathe, hover again. The file is a match. The world is wind. I drag it back into do not share and let my hand fall off the trackpad. I chose freedom over applause. I say it out loud so it sticks. I shut the lid and the room gets quiet enough to feel like mine. A buzz from the phone, Dave again, an emoji that wants a fight. I power it down and open the window instead. Air moves. Thought clears. I pick up the journal and write one line. No victory that costs my soul. Then I underline it. Twice. First purchase in the new place. A simple doorbell that just rings. I install it slow, enjoy the small job. No camera, no cloud, just a button and a chime that tells the truth. I don't wire a ring. I open the window and let the afternoon settle on the floor like warm paint. A breeze slides through the screen and the whole apartment lifts a little. I make the bed tight, rinse a cup, let the playlist hum like a good neighbor. The front door stays unlocked while I'm home. I like the sound of footsteps in the hall, ordinary and harmless. I stand there and try the sentence on my tongue. Trust begins where surveillance ends. It fits. I smile without forcing it. The phone stays dark. The laptop stays closed. I lace my shoes for the Saturday hike and stick the spare key on a hook by the door. When I step out, the chime rings once. Clean, small, enough. 20 years became 7 seconds, and 7 seconds became a chain of proof. Receipts, rides, a 937 lock, a map that didn't blink when people did. We didn't need pixels to tell the truth. We used what couldn't be faked. I kept my rules. No revenge, no noise, no lying to my son. I walked into court standing up, walked out with orders that let me breathe, and a key to a smaller place that fits who I am now. The hurt didn't vanish. It just stopped driving. I chose therapy, the men's group, the clean road. I chose not to post. I chose to move. I chose to start again. I didn't win by breaking them. I won by rebuilding me. If you've watched trust die in real time, you're not alone here. Drop your story in the comments if you can, or just type "me too" and we'll know. Subscribe and follow if you want the next chapter of this healing. Quiet, honest, earned. We'll carry it together, one true step at a time.